The Shifting Sands of Morality, Moral Relativism Defined, written by Sam Harris from the Making Sense podcast, Moral Relativism. It's a concept as old as philosophy itself. In essence, it argues that there are no universal moral truths. Right and wrong, good and evil are not fixed points on a compass. Instead, they are fluid, changing with the tides of culture, time, and individual belief. This perspective has found a particularly interesting home within certain branches of modern Satanism. The Satanic stance, rejecting good and evil. Modern Satanism, as espoused by figures like Anton LaVey, often positions itself in direct opposition to traditional religions and their moral frameworks. Central to this rebellion is the rejection of a divinely ordained morality. Satanists often argue that concepts like good and evil are nothing more than human constructs, tools used by those in power to control and manipulate the masses. They seek to dismantle this perceived system of control, asserting the individual's right to determine their own moral code. Judging the unjudgeable Satanism's paradoxical accusations. Here's where the paradox rears its head. While vehemently denying the existence of objective good and evil, some Satanists readily engage in moral judgments, often accusing others of behaving evilly. They might rail against social injustices, condemn acts of violence, or criticize the hypocrisy of religious institutions. This creates a glaring inconsistency. If there's no objective evil, how can anyone be accused of acting evilly? This question strikes at the heart of the contradictions inherent in moral relativism taken to its logical extreme. The self as God, power, and rebellion in modern Satanism. To understand this paradox, we need to look at the ethos of modern Satanism. Often, it's less about devil worship and more about the glorification of the individual. It's about embracing personal power, questioning authority, and rebelling against societal norms. This focus on the self can lead to a sort of might makes right mentality, where individual desires and ambitions take precedence over any external moral code. A house divided cognitive dissonance in the Satanic mind. This is where the psychological concept of cognitive dissonance comes into play. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort that arises from holding two conflicting beliefs, values, or attitudes. In the case of some Satanists, this dissonance stems from the clash between their rejection of objective morality and their tendency to make moral judgments. To reconcile this internal conflict, they may engage in various forms of self-deception. The slippery slope of relativism, dangers of moral anarchy. This paradox within Satanism serves as a microcosm of the broader dangers of extreme moral relativism. If everyone truly gets to decide their own moral code with no external reference point, then the very foundations of society begin to crumble. Concepts like justice, fairness, and accountability lose all meaning. The potential for chaos and exploitation becomes immense. Beyond Satanism, the broader implications for society. While the example of Satanism provides a stark illustration, the challenges of moral relativism extend far beyond any single group or ideology. In an increasingly interconnected and diverse world, navigating moral differences is paramount. How do we engage in meaningful dialogue across cultures and belief systems without resorting to moral absolutism or descending into the abyss of anything goes relativism? The need for objective truth, a foundation for morality. Many argue that the answer lies in recognizing that while cultural expressions of morality may differ, certain fundamental truths underpin our shared humanity. These truths, often rooted in our biological and social nature, provide a basis for developing a universal moral framework, one that recognizes the inherent dignity and worth of every human being. Finding common ground, navigating moral differences. This isn't to say that finding common ground will be easy. It requires open-mindedness, empathy, and a willingness to engage in difficult conversations. It demands that we challenge our own biases, examine the reasons behind our beliefs, and strive to understand the perspectives of others. The future of morality, responsibility, and critical thinking. In a world grappling with complex ethical dilemmas, from climate change to artificial intelligence, the stakes have never been higher. It's time to move beyond simplistic notions of good and evil and embrace the responsibility of critical thinking. By engaging in thoughtful reflection, honest dialogue, and a commitment to finding common ground, we can create a more just and compassionate world. Conclusion: navigating the moral labyrinth. The paradox of moral relativism within Satanism serves as a powerful reminder of the complexities and nuances of ethical thinking. It highlights the dangers of embracing extreme positions and underscores the importance of intellectual honesty and self-reflection. Ultimately, navigating the moral labyrinth requires a delicate balance between acknowledging the subjective nature of some moral beliefs and recognizing the existence of objective truths that underpin our shared humanity. It's a journey fraught with challenges, but one that is essential for building a better future.